How you doing, buddy?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
I am amazing. I completely fucked up. I thought we had the call an hour ago.
Oh, no worries. I realize we have some pretty whack time zone.
It's a bit crazy, but it is what it is. So how's life? How you doing?
It's good. It's good.
Oh, sorry, just loosening up.
Yeah. Where are you at?
So I'm just near London in England,
Okay.
and just enjoying lockdown. It's been 8 weeks now, so it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. I never did the lockdown thing.
I've seen.
Yeah, no, I'm super against it. Matter of fact, I got an employee out there loading some stuff. Yeah, I just got back from the gym. Yeah, I have not subscribed to a moment of it.
It's really tough because, well, there's pros and cons. Like I've got an 8-week-old son, so he was born the week before we went into lockdown. So that's been really,
Holy crap!
because we were lucky. So we got out of the hospital before it all kicked off properly, and then I've had 8 weeks to just spend, doing some.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. I've been training in the garden. I've got my pull-up bars and my kettlebells and stuff. So, and it's just been awesome spending time with him, my wife, my daughter. Just cracking on.
Yeah.
I do miss jiu-jitsu though.
Yeah. Yeah.
No rolling here. So, my first question really for you. Well, in fact, let me give you a bit of background. So, I train and educate personal trainers, and one of the things that is quite big over here is mental health awareness. So as a person, obviously you're known for having quite a lot of physical and mental resilience. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, and some of your experiences and some of the stuff you've had to push through in your life.
Yep.
So number one, you're a soldier, you were a fighter, a father, a husband, and a business owner. How do you balance all of those things in your kind of day-to-day life? It must be pretty busy.
Yeah, but that's how it's supposed to be. I think most people undersell themselves, and if you set the bar low, that's the best you're ever going to do.
True.
Like if I, not to use dumb expressions, but like if you shoot for the stars and you only reach the moon, but it's also true.
Yeah.
So like I absolutely get up every day with I'm going to crush this day. I'm going to grow my businesses. I'm going to spend as much time with my kids. I'm going to train as much as humanly possible. I'm going to improve in every capacity of my life that I can. And I have to be very strategic about it. I have to be efficient about it. Yeah, like why not set the bar high?
Fair point. So did you have within your childhood, like I saw, I've been doing my research obviously, and I followed you for a long time anyway, but so I know you were the middle child and you've always been pushed into training and that sort of thing. But did you have any kind of early influences that made you so determined and so driven and so focused on improving?
It was really just the environment that was curated by my family, both my parents, my brothers, or my brother, my sister, and my aunts and uncles, and my grandparents. Everybody around us were successful, and it was a very conducive environment to set goals and to execute them at a very, very high level. So I mean, if there was any failure, and there was a lot, that was purely me being an idiot. All of the building blocks had been put in place by lawyers as uncles and district attorney investigators as fathers, and grandparents from the greatest generation, fighting in World War II, uncles fighting in Vietnam.
Wow.
So like I couldn't look anywhere in any direction and not see success.
That's insane. I guess so. Did that have quite a big influence in you joining the military as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people joke, you know, like in the Kennedy family, they're like, "Oh, cool, you're a collegiate athlete. Are you in the Hall of Fame? Then why even bring it up?" You know, or it's like, "Oh, you're a like the bar is so ridiculously high." It's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you're a professional athlete, Tim." You know, and it's like, "Yeah, I fought for world titles, like two of them. You know, like I literally fought for the world title twice." And they're like, "Oh, oh, but did you win those fights?" No, no, I'm not. I was never the world champion, so that's good. Like, oh, okay. Well, why bring that up? Like that. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but also kind of not. That was the expectation. Was to leave a lasting impact, a permanent record of extraordinary. That's the normal in my family.
I think you've done that. I think you've achieved that pretty well.
And trying. I'm a run of the mill Kennedy though.
Wow, that's family reunions must be fun.
Yeah.
Good time. So, with your obviously your Ranger qualified, Green Beret, sniper, you know, you've got the kind of the whole host of qualifications. Were there any other external influences for you going towards the special forces, or was that you wanting to be in the kind of most elite group?
I definitely, um, yeah, we grew up on a piece of land, and we had this river and this creek across the street. And everybody from my church and from like our Boy Scouts club, they would come to our troop. They would come to our house. Like our house had the pool, our house had the adventure, our house had the places to play. And this wasn't like current day where it's like come over and let's play video games, or come over and I mean even like the athlete kids of today, let's like come over and play baseball. That's not what it was at our house. It was like come over, tie a bandana around your head, and put camouflage or deer blood underneath your eyes, and sharpen your incisors teeth and prepare for war. And
Yeah.
that was like a Tuesday afternoon. Um, my mom would kick us out of the house around 2 or 3, and we couldn't come in until it was dark. And whatever we did, it was epic. I'm like we tracked down. There was a guy growing pot in the creek. Like we literally tracked that dude down. Like, whose pot is this? Let's figure out who's growing marijuana in our creek. And then somebody escaped from. I mean, we're like kids. These are the coming of age movies that they make as fiction. Like that was my life, where like somebody escaped from the mental health hospital. Like we're gonna go get bricks and bats, and we're gonna go up and set observation positions around the street, up on top of the bridge, up in the treehouse, and then we're gonna like lure him with food and water underneath the treehouse so we can drop bricks on them.
Wow.
I think us 5.
That's amazing.
You know,
So basically, what you're saying is that your adult life is pretty much the same as when you were 5.
yeah. I stopped maturing around 9. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best way to be. It's
yeah,
that's on 2 levels. That's insane, but it's also just amazing. I love it. I think, like for example, I was looking at a course for my daughter. She's 9, and it's like a 5-day wilderness training course for kids.
yep,
Do that this summer, hopefully. So I think it's so important that they get back what they've lost with kind of being outdoors and just
yeah,
being kids. It's crazy.
yeah. I feel sorry. I almost pity this generation and how disconnected they are from how magical a world we live in.
Mhm.
Where you can sneak out before sunrise into the wilderness and you can see things that you're never supposed to see because we don't belong there.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to you like get to see the wizard behind the curtain and the smoke, and you're like, that deer's just chilling. Or like, why is that raccoon riding on the back of that hog?
Mm.
Because it can, because it's a freaking raccoon. But I mean, you're in a world that you're alien to, and you're like, what is going on?
Mm.
And I think it does something, to figure out how to plot an azimuth off of, with a compass and a map and a protractor, and be like, okay, I can get from here to here. I don't need a map. I don't need Google Maps. I don't need Apple Maps. I don't need anything. I can just be and survive and exist on my own.
It's amazing. I think as well, it gives kids that level of confidence that they can take care of themselves. Same as martial arts, same as Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like my daughter started doing BJJ. She did Krav Maga for a while, but we stopped that. But she loves BJJ. She loves rolling with the other, the other boys that are 10, 11 years old. And it's just roughhousing, isn't it? And that's what the kids need. Crazy. So going back to your kind of the special forces side of stuff, mentally, where did you have to be to get through the qualification programs and to get into being a Green Beret? Where did you have to get headspace?
The failure wasn't an option.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you had done everything that you could to prepare for every one of the phases, whether it was special forces selection. I was an 18 X-ray, so I had an additional 2 selections. So we actually have like a hell month, and then we go to selection. And then if he gets selected, then you go to a second portion that is, they call them preparation courses, but they're the highest attriters through the whole entire Q course, and they're not even part of the Q course. So I think when I showed up in May, before I went to selection in August, April, May, June, July. So 6 months. No. We got there at the end of May, signed in. So June, July, August, we had 3.5 to 4 months in this preparation course. We went from around 500 guys. We sent 80 to select, or 90 to selection, and 88 got selected.
Wow.
So if you look at selection, you're like, we only lost 2 guys. Like, oh my, it was like, a 99% pass rate or 97% pass rate. And we're like, no, homie, there was 500 other dudes here 3 months ago.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. So I swear, I joke, but I'm not joking. You would have had to come in at night while I was sleeping with a lead pipe, and you better bring a couple of dudes with you and break both of my legs to get me to not pass something. Like, not only was quitting never an option, not passing something was never an option.
Yeah.
Not being like a first time go every single time. I will find a way to get through this. And because you walk in the barracks with a lead pipe and a couple of homies, I'd still probably kill you, because all I wanted to do was graduate and get selected.
Yeah.
Like that was the mindset.
And let's be honest, that would be the worst place to walk into with a lead pipe and a couple of homies.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah. By that point, like the 90 of us that went to selection, we went to basic training together. We went to infantry school together. We went to airborne school together. We went to they call it SOP-C, Special Operations Preparation Course. And that's the 2-month long attritter. We did that together. Then we went to selection together. So like, we have now spent 9 months of our life and watching everybody else just fall off. There's no way you could have, from that group on, there's nothing you could have done to stop us. Like, nothing.
Yeah, I can't imagine like the brotherhood and everything that you guys start to build. It's just, that's a next level. That's a family. So do you have any kind of highlights that you can think of from any of your selection courses or any of your qualification courses that were physically or mentally just, you know, disturbing from a toughness perspective?
Yeah, I cheated a lot. A Green Beret is it's a really unique job that I don't think many people understand. Like, there's gates that you have to pass. Like, you have to do a 5-mile run in this very specific time, and you have to be able to do a 2-mile run in a specific time. But then there's things like the STAR course, which is famously difficult. It's infamous for how many people quit or fail the STAR course. And it's a map, and there's points on this map that are in the shape of a star. And each one of those movements are, 20, 30 kilometers.
Wow.
And you have to move at about a 15-minute mile pace. So like, you got to be stepping out almost a run with your 65-pound rucksack.
Damn.
And you're not allowed to ever be on a road. If you're ever on a road and you're using road, because you're not supposed to be on the roads. The reason that they do that is, it's one, who are using the map specifically for its topographic design, and two is they need to know can land nav, and not just, so navigating off a road is way different than land navigation.
Yeah.
And so they want to see you do land navigation. And so I'm a road runner. I would use the roads, and they would set up traps. So in the water is kind of like going, you'd have to fight through like weeds and marshes and swamps. So like, you do not want to not be on the road at this point. Well, they would set instructors up, cadre, at these passes to see if you would get up on the road to cross this draw. And one of the many times where I was running the road, an instructor pops up with a ghillie suit, and he's like, "I got you." And I was like, "No, you don't, bitch. You got to catch me." And I'm off, and I'm sprinting. And the guy's in a ghillie suit, and he's like trying to take off his ghillie suit, and he's chasing me through the woods. And I was like, "There's not a chance. Not a chance. Even if I dump this rucksack, you're still not, like, even if I keep this rucksack on, you're not going to catch me. You're not going to get me." So like, foot pursuits through the middle of North Carolina, at night, where they're like, "I got night vision." I was like, "Cool, I got foot speed." Like, you can only see me as long as that beautiful tiny little PVS 14 will get you, and you won't be able to catch me. During SEER school, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. It's a little over a month-long school. They teach you how to kind of live off the land. They teach you how to, like, what mushrooms you can eat, and how to get vitamin C from pine needles, and what bugs you can eat, and how to clean a snake, and how to clean a rabbit. That's like the first week. And then the second week is they put you out in this evasion period where you have to run for your life.
Wow.
Not literally for your life. They're trying to catch you, and you don't want to get caught. And this is about an 8-day time period where you're incentivized to not get caught, because if you get caught early, you have to go into the concentration camp early.
Wow.
And that they call Camp Slappy, where they beat you for the last couple of weeks. So if you get caught on day 1, you're going to spend 2 weeks in Camp Slappy. If you get caught on day 7, you're only going to spend 1 week in Camp Slappy. So your goal is to get all the way to day 7 without getting caught. And then you have to conduct link up, and ultimately you're betrayed, and then your cadre turn you in anyways. Well, a lot of people over 7 days, they're starving to death. They're in North Carolina, they're eating pine nuts, and they're trying to make pine needle tea, and they're scraping mussels out of the creek beds and trying to catch snakes, and they're eating roadkill. You're not allowed to go dumpster diving in any of their farmers' trash cans. That's illegal. But literally, it's illegal because that's the first thing that we would do. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to go eat trash. That sounds way better than starving for a week and a half. I didn't do any of that. I went and I buried food on my evasion lane because I went and made friends with the person that was designing where every one of the teams was going to go. And I found out where my team was going, and I went and I buried food.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's
So
nice.
there's 12 guys on my team, and we enter the evasion portion, and they're chasing us. They got dogs, and you hear the dogs like bloodhounds, and they got thermal imagers, and they're on horseback, and they're trying to catch us. And we're moving up our evasion lane, and I was like, we had 11 of my friends that I had spent all this time with, and then we had one Air Force pilot. They also have to go to SEER school. And we get to the first spot, and he's like, wait, why are we going this way? I'm like, just trust me. Like, we know we've spent a lot of time out here. And so he trusts us. We dig these 2 boxes of MREs up. So we have 2 MREs for everyone at position number 1. And he's like, this is an integrity violation. I'm not touching that stuff. He's like, I understand what you're saying. I don't know how this food got here. It's a miracle. But we can all eat, and we can all get 4,000 calories a day, our whole entire evasion period. And you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to force you to eat this stuff, but I recommend that you're going to really want to. And so I have mad respect for this guy during the entire evasion portion, because he wouldn't touch it. He thought that we were cheating. The 11 of us that now had an extra 2 MREs every day because he wouldn't eat them. And so we were taking care of him. We were helping him hunt, and we were helping him forage. And all the way to the very last day, actually the second to last day, the instructor comes up with a deer that he found on the side of the road that had been hit. And under normal circumstances, everybody would lose their mind about finding a dead deer.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, we have meat for the first time in a week, right? Like, we haven't had 500 calories in a day, a normal team. We haven't had 500 calories that we've been for, we ate like a water moccasin, and that's where the name for a green beret snake eaters come from. It's from this portion. Yeah. And so he like throws this dead animal on the ground. And I was like, ooh, that's icky. We're not going to eat that. He's like, what do you mean you're not going to eat that? I was like, we've been really successful in, finding food and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, well, show me one of your shits. I was like, okay. So we went over to one of our poop piles, and there's like this big, huge hole that dug in the ground. And it's like, look, there's lots of poop in there. We've been eating just fine. He's like, all right, what have you been eating? I was like, well, just food. He's like, that's a lot of poop. This Air Force guy, he did, to his credit, he kept his mouth shut until we went to the interrogation portion, the resist, SERE. His mask comes off. They black bag us, they drag us out, and we're on our knees. Our hands are tied behind our back. They pull it up and they slap us. They're like, what team number are you? What's your roster number? Where are you from? And we're all staying in the circle, and we're not breaking, all 11 of us. And then we hear his mask, his bag get pulled up. He's like, these guys have been eating MREs this whole entire week. And all of us, there's a sigh of sadness because, we were just betrayed by one of our teammates. But also it just made the next week and a half 100% real for us. Because if they found out, if one of the 11 of us broke, if one of the 11 of us said that we did do this, we are all going to fail.
Wow.
So what ended up happening is, over the course of the week and a half, every single interrogation became a real interrogation. Mm-hmm. They had one guy that was saying that we were cheating and that we had planted food and we had buried food and we were eating MREs for the entire evasion week. And then there was 11 of us that were perfect. Not a single one of us broke. Not a single one of us even gave it a slightest inclination about what we had done. And we all stayed perfectly in our circle with our story. And so that guy got recycled. He had to start back at day one. Mm-hmm. The Air Force guy, and the 11 of us graduated and all became Green Berets. I'm telling this story because you're asking about, like, where did your headspace have to be? Yeah. And that was a long example of, it wasn't just me. Mm-hmm. It was the entire collective, this community of dudes, they're all just like me. Every single one of them. They are pipe hitting, dangerous, lying, cheating, stealing, murdering heroes. And at the end of the school, the Seer cadre, like we've graduated. We got our green berets. We got the SF thing on our tab, on our shoulder, right? And they walk up and they're like, okay, can we now debrief about what really happened? And we're like, well, first of all, I'm at this moment going to consult my attorney. We're joking, because all of us are together, all graduating. And like, let us sign into our group, our units first. And then once we're done with that, we'll all come down and we'll talk to you. So it was the first instance in SEER school history where they legitimately had every single interrogation was a real interrogation. And every single debriefing was a real debriefing. And there was a consequence. So like they were trying to do real interrogating techniques and we were trying to really resist interrogation. And that is a testament to how this program is built, how the people that are selected attend, and to specific to Headspace, you'd have to kill us. That's it. Like, we're going to finish.
I'm just going to quickly turn my lights on because it's got really dark really quick. There we go. That's a bit better. At least now you can see me.
Yep. You look good.
It's yeah, it's only like 7 o'clock here, and it's just where I've got some trees over the back, and it's just getting a bit blocked. So obviously, physical fitness has played a huge part in your life from the outset. What's your kind of current philosophy when it comes to training and nutrition? Because obviously, I've seen you training on it. You're using kettlebells, sledgehammers, weights, partial carries, shooting drills, everything. So what's kind of your overall?
So I hate the word functional fitness, and I see a bunch of people doing things that I can't imagine a version in the real world where they would have to do the movement that they're doing.
Yep.
Right. I'm like, what is this thing that you're doing, and where would you do that in the real world?
Yep.
So everything that I do, from my baseline aerobic cardio to type 2 fast twitch development to power volume output to pure strength, every single thing is for the purpose of real life. Mm-hmm. Train for life. That's the motto. I'll give you an example. I live on a little bit of land. I have chickens. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends brought over one of his a terrier, and they're hunting. I didn't know this. Well, I did know this, but I had never seen it. How aggressive and violent a terrier can be.
Yeah. Like
they're built to go get things. Mm. So they saw those chickens, and that terrier, it just started seeing red. It was in full black mode, and it was in murder mode. And I'm watching like all these, CrossFit and like, there's a physique model that was over, and they're like stumbling over themselves trying to get this dog, as this dog is killing these chickens. I'm in the pool with my 5-year-old, and I'm throwing my 5-year-old up in the air as we're like doing flips and acrobatic stuff, again, training for life. And then I was like, I'm gonna have to get out and get this dog before this dog kills all my chickens. So like I run over to the side of the pool, I box jump out of the pool, I hop over the pool fence, and in 2 seconds I chase down a terrier that's trying to chase down my chickens. So in that 10 seconds, you saw this massive volume of output with this fast twitch, explosive power movement, and then a true type 2 sprint to get, like Rocky Balboa, get the chicken, Rocky. Yeah, and that's it. Like if my kid's stuck underneath the car, I'm gonna pick that fucking car up.
100%.
If a dude walks into that door over there and it's like, I'm gonna kill your family, and it's like, I'm gonna wear your face to dinner tonight. Like, it's gonna be weird. My wife's gonna be creeped out, but like, I will have your face on my face for dinner. Yeah. and well, you know, jujitsu, shooting, obviously still as a special forces operator, like there's a massive fitness component that has to be there.
Yep.
You know, you were asking about mental health. Like I've done some dark things. I've seen some horrific things. And one of the reasons that like this is so strong and like this is so healthy is because of nutrition and because of fitness.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think it was on one of your podcasts before, with Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
Saying about how, you know, there were first responders turning up to events and having heart attacks because they were looking for people that were thrown from a vehicle. I believe you said it was like a bus.
Yeah.
And I think, because that's, obviously I'm not military or law enforcement, but obviously I've got a daughter, I've got a son, I've got a wife, and everything that I do with my training goes towards being a better protector, you know? So I think that kind of ties in quite nicely with one of the things I was going to ask you a bit later on, but we'll cover it now, is obviously you've got Sheepdog Response, which is your kind of training arm for everything you do as a protector. What other things do you kind of have going on at the moment, business-wise, and going into that sort of realm?
Yep. I don't know where to start. I'm about halfway done writing a book.
Wow.
Right there is, I'm in the middle of my pilot's license to fly helicopters.
Nice.
So I'm about 50-60% done with that in hours and ground school. And I have about 5 other businesses. I have a marketing company. I have a defensive contractor, government contractor. I have a shoe company. I have a supplement company, and I have a military apparel line called Ranger Up. And I spend the majority of my time with Sheepdog Response because I'm really passionate about that mission. It's what I have done my whole entire adult life. I mean, from 18 to now at 40, the motto, the mission statement of our company is to preserve and protect human life. And we are trying to empower other people to do that. And so obviously I'm pretty committed to that idea. And I'm just trying to get that to be a contagious thing, as contagious as COVID, 100%. To get to everybody.
So with, in regards to your mental toughness, your resilience, how much of a part do you think your physical fitness has helped to grow those aspects of your like mentality?
Everything, all of it. Like that's it. There's no tough person in the planet that's just like, oh yeah, like I got it here. No, you don't. Like the only way that this gets tough is by the pain and suffering that you can put your body through and preparing it. You know, like the toughest dudes in every single war in history, they came from bad places and they did bad things growing up. You know, like their dad beat them, their uncle beat them, their grandpa beat them. And then they got there and they're like, these Nazis aren't going to beat me. There's not a chance. But they've been hardened their whole entire life. I came from a different position of privilege where everything was prepared for me to be able to make myself have that hardship. So I had to volunteer. I had to choose to make things hard. Like the first time I went on a wrestling mat, I got murdered. Yeah. I got pinned in a minute. My first wrestling match ever. And I was like, and like in my brain, I was like, the disconnect between, wait a second, like everything's supposed to be easy for us, you know, like why didn't I just win this match? And I was so angry at myself. And for the next like 5-6 months, I mean 2-3 days, you know, just pounding it until the very next meet, and where I mopped the floors with everybody. 5 months later, you know, and that wasn't mental toughness. That was doing work to prepare to be tough.
Makes sense. I think, again, going back to what we were saying about the kids with kind of video games, I think there's a certain element of your psyche that can only come from those physical challenges. You cannot get that in any other way. You know, you can't lose a game of Madden and then be like, right, I'm going to train for 5 to 6 months and come back and I'm going to fuck you up. Like, it just doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen.
No. The connective tissue, both like neurologically and physically, where, you know, like if I brought my 5-year-old in here and I was like, hey, jump off this table, he's going to look and be like, oh, okay, can I do it? Right. And then he does it. And his bones and his legs get a little bit stronger every single time he does it. Just like jumping, like you can jump a little bit higher every time that you keep conditioning and training to jump. Well, similar to like the bone density and strength of being able to take those impacts. And your brain is also recognizing that, okay, first I jumped from 6 inches, then I jumped from 8 inches, and then I jumped from 12 inches, and now he's 4. And then I'm jumping from 18 inches and he's 4.5. And then he's jumping from 2 feet up, you know, and then like I'm outside and he's on his pirate ship and he's like, I'm going to jump off the top of this pirate ship. I'm going to do a barrel roll and then I'm going to go and jump over the wall and hop in the pool. And I was like, hell yeah, you are.
Get some.
You know? And he does it. And that is like all of those things in this total human condition developing together, where your brain is getting tougher, your bones are getting tougher, your muscles are getting tougher, but you can't just do one of those things. They all have to grow together.
That makes a lot of sense. So with that being said, do you have any kind of advice for someone that was looking at growing their levels of discipline or toughness in general? Do you have any kind of tips for them?
Yeah, I mean, the first word is discipline. You know, there is not a, you know, Jocko Willink, you know, he says it beautifully where, you know, he's like, you're never going to find motivation to go and do the thing that needs to be done, because motivation is going to fade, right? Like that moment where like, oh, I started a new diet, or I'm following this new workout program, or like, you know, like the beach weather's coming up, so I gotta get my beach body ready, or whatever the new fad is that you're looking for that motivation for. That's always going to fade and that's always going to go away. The only thing that's going to remain is discipline. Discipline is the only thing that is going to be there always. So some things that I use for making sure that my training regimen stays consistent is accountability. So I use a bunch of different things for that. I have a heart rate monitor that I have a bunch of other very high level athletes in my network as part of my connection. So every single day I can open that up and be like, oh, Juan took it easy today. What did you do? So we take a picture of our workout and then it has our heart rate. That's one form of accountability. Most of my instructors are on there from Sheepdog Response, so I can see that they're training every single day.
Yep.
And then another thing is like I have my workout partners. You know, Shane Steiner and Rob Canellis and Brandon Harrell and Dakota Myers, Juan from On It, like they're monsters. And like if you're the biggest, baddest, strongest dude in the room, like find a better room. And that's my approach to accountability, is finding guys that are better and stronger than me.
I think you've done quite a good job of surrounding yourself over and over again with some pretty bad dudes. But so you said something earlier about, and I've seen on your Instagram and Facebook about, is it Live Relentless, the supplements? Can you tell me a bit more about where that came from and kind of what the mission is with that?
Yeah. The vast majority of supplements that people use after training is trash.
Yep.
You know, they're trying to find the best, cheapest Chinese sourced whey protein and then like sugared fillers to put in their post-workout or pre-workout, where it's just like packed with caffeine. And you know, it's so disingenuous. We're like, hey, we're going to make this thing that we're marketing it, that it's going to help you do anything. But in truth, the marketing's all a lie, and all of that stuff is nearly poison for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad for your gut health. It's not being metabolized and cannibalized into branched chain amino acids that are going to be put into your muscles. You know, like none of that's happening because it's all trash. During my time in the military, I was still actively fighting for the UFC. I had a really, really hard time coming back from deployments because while I was overseas, good food, good nutrition was always hard to come by.
Yeah.
And so I would try to be creative, but we also have rules that we're not supposed to break about what kind of food we can locally source.
Mm-hmm.
And like a really easy example is not that you can find an avocado when you're in the Middle East, but you know, you could have a pomegranate or an avocado because it has a skin that you don't eat.
Yeah.
So you can open it and you can get the stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
But I couldn't eat like an apple or a plum or a grape because there's no way for us to clean the thing on the outside unless we, you know, we cut the exterior of the fruit off. So that is a really almost inaccurate representation, but that's an example of how difficult it is to find some food. So Live Relentless was me trying to get a solution to that. Okay, I'm going to try and find the best natural, real sources of nutrition and package it in a way that people that live a life like me can use it.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I think there's so much stuff on the market today that is just insanely terrible with the additives, the caffeine, the sugar, the poor quality ingredients. It's just insane. And what I'll do in the description of this video, I'll put all the links to everything that we've spoken about and all the companies and everything.
Awesome.
It's just insane. So with your, going back to an earlier question that we missed part of it, which was, what's your current nutrition philosophy like? What would a typical day of eating look like? That sort of thing.
Yep. So this morning I had scrambled eggs, turkey sausage, about a quarter cup of oatmeal, some fruit, and a cup of coffee. Nice. That's my breakfast almost every single day. I went and had a horrific workout, hypertrophy, like a superset A1, A2, A3, push, pull, sprint times 5, and then B1, B2, B3, push, pull, sprint times 4, and then C1, C2, C3, push, pull, sprint times 3.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I came back and I minced up some elk that I had hunted and made an elk taco. That was pretty delicious. Took a little bit of pork belly and put it in the pan to grease the pan as the fat started cooking off. And then I put the elk on top of that, little garlic salt, onion powder, chili powder, and then coleslaw on top of that with some sriracha, some green verde spice sauce. And there you have it. That's my lunch. Oh. And then dinner is going to be chicken thighs with a big green salad.
That sounds amazing. That sounds
so
awesome.
I mean that's a pretty accurate day for me. You know, like I'm gonna have a couple of snacks in between there. I'm gonna probably have an afternoon coffee today because I have a bunch of work. You know, I eat about 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day now. I'm not on any specific diet. I just eat clean.
Yep.
You know, like I don't eat fried stuff. I don't eat processed stuff. I don't, you know, there's no Cheetos in the house. There's no sugar in the house. There's no Gatorade. There's none of that stuff. So I just like I train for life, I also just eat for life. You know, like I just eat whatever's the best thing for me and my family.
Makes a lot of sense. I think, again, there's so much misinformation, especially in the fitness industry about nutrition. And so I actually run like a training school for personal trainers. So I train them up to get them qualified and everything. My favorite thing to do is when we start teaching nutrition, about 4 or 5 weeks into the course, and we sit everyone down and we say, right, what do you believe in? And we hear some of the craziest stuff. Like, you know, people are saying, oh, you know, milk will make you go blind and your hair will fall out. And, you know, if you have gluten, your legs are going to fall off and you won't get erections. And it's just some of the crazy shit we hear. It's just next level insane. But it sounds basically like you're saying, high protein, good food, high calories, and just getting in the nutrients you need to maintain your extremely busy life.
Yep. Good fats. Lots of greens.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, son? That's my little savage.
Love it. All good. So if my kind of moving towards my final questions, if people wanted to see more about what you do or potentially try and get in touch with you, but obviously I understand you're busy, what would be the best places for them to go?
Tim Kennedy MMA is like my stuff for everything. You know, if you're on Twitter, I realize some people like Instagram people are anti-Twitter people, and then anti-Twitter people or Twitter people are so hateful and mean. They're like anti everybody else. So it's the same. Tim Kennedy MMA for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. And if it does not have a verified thing next to my name, it is not. There are so many fake accounts out there.
Yeah.
It's bad. All of my accounts are verified, so click on the verified accounts, and you know, there's like 750,000 followers on there. Like, do that one, not the one that has 400. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you could reach out to me through social media. Sheepdog Response. If you go to info@sheepdogresponse.com to email any questions you have about defensive tactic stuff, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fighting, self-defense, coming to a course. You know, we actually have a bunch of people that come from the UK all the time, and they're asking like, well, you know, it's hard for me to have a gun. I'm like, don't worry about it, bro. I'm in Texas. I will have 10 guns waiting for you. Just come here and train. You know, like I don't care. I'll make it happen. We try to make it a pretty turnkey experience.
Yeah.
So.
See, my brother's always in Texas on business. So what I might do is
he knows.
I might just jump on a flight with him next time, because that's
do it.
The thing is, like I've trained in various like combat sports and martial arts and stuff, and I've got friends that are high level like close protection officers and ex special forces in the UK and stuff like that. But there's only so much we can do over here in regards. I mean, like I've always got like an EDC knife, but there's not really a lot that we can do. But yeah,
always do the most that you can, you know, because you never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And okay, so what I'll do is I'll stop the recording in a second, but I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for your time. It's greatly appreciated, and I'm hoping that this will help some of the people that go through our mental health course. You know, look at someone that's seen a lot of stuff and done a lot of things, and you're still going. You're a strong guy.
Still going.
And I also want to say, you know, obviously I'm not an American, but I just want to say thank you for your service, because we're all in this together.
We are.
And it's some definitely trying times.
It is, man. Keep your head above water. Just keep swimming.